Malice was eventually put on a stretcher and taken to a nearby hospital.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 athlete-fan interactions gone wrong.
But the worst thing the players can do is to go in the crowd like this.
For this list, we'll be looking at times fans interfered with or got physical with athletes or coaches during play. What's the craziest fan interaction you have ever seen at a sporting event? Be sure to share with us in the comments below. Number 10. Frank Francisco's chair rage. When you go to a baseball game, there's almost always a risk of getting hit by a ball, but you don't expect to be hit by a folding chair. During a 2004 game between the Texas Rangers and the Oakland A's, an Oakland season ticket holder heckled the Rangers pitchers. Apparently, relief pitcher Frank Francisco's patience ran out during the 9th inning, so he threw a folding chair into the crowd. Despite being paid to have decent aim, Francisco hit the trash talker's wife instead, breaking her nose. The pitcher was arrested and sentenced to a work program and anger management classes. Number 9. The Jeffrey Maier Incident. During the first game of the 1996 American League Championship Series between the New York Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles, Yankees shortstop Derek Jeter hit a fly ball to right field. Luckily for him, 12-year-old Jeffrey Maier was sitting in the best spot possible. Maier reached over the fence and grabbed the ball with his glove.
And what happens here? He contends that a fan reaches up and touches it. But Richie Garcia says no, it's a home run.
Umpire Rich Garcia ruled the play a home run, much to the dismay of the Orioles.
That ball was not in the seats. It's okay to catch it if it's over the wall, but if it's in the playing field, then it's not allowed. You're not allowed to touch it, and you can see that ball is touched right there.
The Yankees won the game and went on to beat the Atlanta Braves in the World Series. As for Maier, he became a local celebrity and sat behind the Yankees' dugout later in the postseason.
It's pretty unbelievable, and I didn't think it would ever happen to me.
Number 8. Reggie Smith fights a fan. The San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers have been bitter rivals since the two teams were based in New York.
No other rivalry in any sport can claim as many enduring icons or memorable moments on two coasts.
Any rivalry that has simmered for such a long time is bound to have its ugly moments, and this definitely qualifies as one of those. In 1981, Giants fan Michael Dooley attended a game between the rival teams and verbally harassed the Dodgers. Dooley took the heckling to another level when he threw a batting helmet at outfielder Reggie Smith. Naturally, Smith retaliated and jumped into the stands to fight the troublesome fan. Smith was ejected and Dooley was arrested. Funnily enough, Smith ended up joining the Giants in free agency just a few months later. Number 7. Ty Domi brawls with a heckler. Long before Gritty captured the hearts of Philadelphia Flyers fans, another energetic fan made headlines in the city of brotherly love. During a 2001 matchup between the Flyers and the Toronto Maple Leafs, Toronto right-wing Ty Domi was sitting in the penalty box when a heckler began harassing him.
Oh, into the stands goes Ty Domi. The glass knocked out. A fan is jumped in. Kevin Collins is in the middle of it.
Domi sprayed the vocal fan with his water bottle, prompting Flyers fanatic Christopher Falcone to go after Domi. The glass panel gave way and Falcone fell into the penalty box, where he was greeted with Domi's fists.
Oh yeah, Ty Domi got some shots in.
Well, there's an example of the player being at fault there. Domi actually initiated all that.
The fight was broken up and Domi was fined $1,000 but not suspended. The two men later made up, with Domi even giving Falcone tickets to a couple of playoff games in Toronto.
And he's like, yeah? I said, yeah. You want to come to Toronto? He said, yeah. I said, okay. I shook it. And I told him, I said, just don't tell the media or anything, right? Anyway, it's all done.
Number 6. Two fans attacked Tom Gamboa.
I was in the right place doing my job at the wrong time. They came at me from behind, so I had no idea what was about to happen.
Usually, father and son outings to baseball games result in wholesome memories, but this particular father-son duo was more interested in harm than hot dogs. During a 2002 game between the Kansas City Royals and the Chicago White Sox, the 9th inning was interrupted by two shirtless fans running out of the stands. The two men, identified as William Legui Jr. and his son, attacked Royals first base coach Tom Gamboa.
A folded-up pocket knife was found on the ground near the site of the incident. Fortunately, Gamboa escaped with a few cuts and a bruised cheek.
The Royals bench rushed over and pulled the attackers off their coach, but unfortunately, Gamboa suffered permanent hearing loss in his right ear due to the incident. The attackers were sentenced to several months of parole for their crime.
As for Gamboa's attackers, as they were led into the police car, they answered the question, why?
Why did you do what you did?
He flicked us off. He got what he deserved.
Number 5. Patriots fan attacks Junior Seau. Massachusetts sports fans have a reputation for being rowdy, and sometimes that can even carry over to how they interact with their own teams. The late Junior Seau was a top linebacker for the Patriots. However, sometimes even the best tackler can become the tacklee. During a 2008 game between the New England Patriots and the Arizona Cardinals, Seau was on the sidelines when fan Todd Kobus jumped over the fence onto the field and tackled Seau. Kobus later said that he simply meant to hug the linebacker, but he was still charged with trespassing and assault and battery. We definitely understand the urge to hug your favorite athlete, but maybe stick to fan mail next time. Number 4. Sasha Lakovic retaliates. Fights are almost always on the menu at hockey games, but those scuffles usually don't involve fans. During a 1996 game between the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers, one Oilers fan apparently had one too many sips of liquid courage and started shouting at the opposing team's bench.
And look what happened right there. Dylan White pops up into the crowd, and there go the Flames.
The drunk fan took it one step too far and poured a drink and popcorn on Flames assistant coach Guy Lapointe. Calgary player Sasha Lakovic immediately stood up for his coach by jumping over the glass and throwing punches. Several teammates and coaches pulled Lakovic back, and he was suspended for 2 games.
And there's Lakovic going over the top as the Flames players thankfully held him back before that got worse.
Number 3. The Steve Bartman Incident. Buying a ticket to a baseball game shouldn't lead to needing police protection. During Game 6 of the 2003 National League Championship Series between the Florida Marlins and the Chicago Cubs, Marlins batter Luis Castillo hit the ball into left field. As Chicago outfielder Moises Alou leapt to catch the ball, Cubs fan Steve Bartman deflected the ball, potentially preventing the second out of the inning.
That's awfully close to fan interference right there. The umpire's all over it.
The Cubs ultimately lost both the game and the series. As for Bartman, he had to be escorted from the game by security, and police cars later surrounded his family home for his safety.
And the story turned basically from Cubs going to the World Series to this one guy blew it for us, even though the pitchers gave up, 8 runs and the shortstop booted the ball, but everything was, pointing towards this one poor guy.
More than a decade later, the Cubs gifted Bartman a championship ring after they won the 2016 World Series.
Cubs brass say they're honored to give Bartman the ring, adding, "We hope this provides closure on an unfortunate chapter." Bartman says he's deeply moved and sincerely grateful and hopes it will be the start of an important healing and reconciliation process for all involved.
Number 2. Boston Bruins players versus New York Rangers fans. Madison Square Garden has seen its fair share of fights, but those fights usually don't involve the fans. This 1979 game between the New York Rangers and the Boston Bruins was physical from the get-go, but the fists really started flying as the game ended. After the final buzzer, the teams started fighting, and Rangers fan John Captain hit Bruin Stan Jonathan with a program before snatching his stick. Jonathan's teammate Terry O'Reilly entered the stands to retrieve the stick, and 18 other Bruins followed.
O'Reilly's after somebody in the crowd. Oh, this could be bad. Oh, there go the Bruins. Oh, you hate to see this.
The brawl between the players and fans escalated, with player Mike Milbury hitting Captain with his own shoe. Only one Bruin, goaltender Jerry Cheevers, was not involved in the incident and therefore not fined afterward.
But that's the worst thing you can see in a hockey rink is when the players decide to go over that barricade.
Jim, but the fans have no right.
None. I agree with you, Bill.
No
completely.
right at all to take a player's stick from out of his hand.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Malice at the Palace. During the final minute of a 2004 game between the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons, Pacers player Ron Artest fouled Ben Wallace, causing a scuffle.
Ben Wallace was fouled, and Wallace did... Oh, Wallace! Right at Artest! This has potential to be serious if they don't get between.
Artest laid down on the scorer's table, and Pistons fan John Green threw a drink on Artest. The small forward entered the stands and grabbed another fan who he believed to be the instigator.
Now Artest has jumped over the scorer's table and is trying to get down to the bench. is in the stands. Oh, this is awful. Fans are getting involved. Steven Jackson's in the fans. Rasheed Wallace going into the stands.
The brawl escalated and the referees called the game without finishing up the final seconds. 9 players were suspended for a total of 146 games, and 5 fans were banned from Pistons home games for life.
You wonder if the officials are going to let this game continue. Now they're throwing bottles out onto the floor. They're trying to get the Pacers to go back to the locker room.
This incident led to rule changes, limited alcohol sales at games, and more than $11 million in lost salaries due to suspensions.
What a disgraceful showing from the Pistons fans here.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.